the history of the holy city of Karbala did not begin with the 10th of Muharram. In fact, one is able to trace it all the way until the time of great prophets such as Prophet Nuh as well as Prophet Ibrahim, peace and blessings be upon them. Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam states in the narration, if people knew the reward for performing the Ziyarat of Imam Husayn alayhi salam, their souls would leave their bodies in remorse and they would die longing for it. Ya Allah, have mercy on the faces transformed by the heat of the sun. Have mercy on the cheeks that touch the grave of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Have mercy on the eyes that weep out of kindness to us, and have mercy on the hearts that are grieved on our account and are fired with passion for us. Have mercy on those who mourn us. It is here that the wretched and cursed Shimr ibn al-Jawshan beheaded the grandson of the Prophet of Islam, Imam al-Husayn, peace and blessings be upon him. The visitor will notice that it's a few meters away from the actual grave site of the Imam alayhi salam. This is because of the fact that the body of the Imam was trampled under the hooves of the horses and therefore was moved several meters until his place of burial.
Millions of people travel from all over the world to visit the holy shrine of Imam al-Husayn, peace and blessings be upon him. They come to pay their respect and renew their oath of allegiance, showing love, sacrifice, devotion, and dedication. It is the ambition and desire of many to visit this holy city. For hundreds of years, many have braved bans, punishment, distance, as well as other challenges just to be here. What is the root of this tradition? How did it start? Who is buried in the shrine of Imam al-Husayn, and exactly where? And what is their significance to us? What does the dome which sits at the top of the shrine represent? And why is the soil of Karbala so significant today? Join me as I explore one of the most important sites in Islam, the shrine and the burial site of the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, Imam al-Husayn, peace and blessings be upon them. The sheer magnanimity of the shrine of Imam al-Husayn and the fact that he remains such a focal point for millions of pilgrims was foretold by his loyal sister.
Sayyida Zainab alayhi salam, the sister of Imam al-Husayn, peace and blessings be upon him, once spoke to her nephew, Imam Zain al-Abidin al-Sajjad alayhi salam, regarding the future of the grave of her brother, Imam al-Husayn, peace be upon him. She said to him, do not be sad for what you see. It is by Allah I swear, only the announcement that the Almighty Allah has already made to your grandfather as well as your father. Allah has certainly made a covenant with some people who are not known by the tyrants on this earth, but they are well known by the inhabitants of the heavens, that they shall gather these severed organs and these blood-stained bodies to bury them. They shall also hoist in this land, al-Taf, a flag on tomb of your father, the master of the martyrs. Throughout days and ages, the mark of this tomb shall never be obliterated, and its figure shall not be taken out. Nevertheless, the heads of atheism and the spreaders of deviation shall exert all efforts for obliterating it. Yet this shall make it more and more elevated instead.
This great honor, which has been promised by Allah to Imam al-Husayn, has given even greater importance to his resting site. This is also emphasized by the sayings and traditions of the Ahl al-Bayt, peace and blessings be upon them.
When coming to the blessed shrine of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam for ziyarah, the visitor needs to appreciate the excellence and the merits of such a journey and such a visitation. Now, the Ziyarat of Imam Husayn alayhi salam has always featured heavily in the teachings of the Ahl al-Bayt. To visit the third holy Imam is to obey a command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, where He commands us to display love and loyalty towards the pure progeny. قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى, the Holy Quran states. Human beings have a natural tendency to follow those who inspire them. Hence, visiting Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam is the perfect way to show their connection to him in practical way, as well as fulfill their desire to follow in the footsteps of the grandson of the Prophet. Upon performing a detailed analysis of the numerous narrations, we find over 100 benefits of this ziyarah, both in this dunya, this world, as well as the akhirah. Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam states in the narration, if people knew the reward for performing the ziyarah of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, their souls would leave their bodies in remorse and they would die longing for it. The narrator said, I asked, what is the reward for going to this ziyarah? Imam alayhi salam replied, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will record the reward of 1,000 accepted hajjs, 1,000 accepted umrahs, 1,000 martyrs of Badr, fasting of 1,000 people, 1,000 accepted prostrations, and the reward of freeing 1,000 slaves in the way of Allah for one who goes to the ziyarah of Imam al-Husayn, longing for him. He will be protected for a whole year from every calamity, the least of which is the shaitan's influence. And Allah will appoint a noble angel to protect him from the front, from behind, from the right and the left, from above and below. If that person dies that year, the Imam states, angels of divine mercy will be present with him. They would bath and shroud him and seek forgiveness for him. They will also follow him till the grave and widen it as far as the eye can see. And Allah will keep him safe from the squeezing of the grave and from the fear of angels, Munkar and Nakir. A door will be opened from his grave to paradise. And on the day of Qiyamah, the scroll of deeds will be given to him on the right hand. And he will shine with light, which will illuminate from the east to the west. And an announcer will call out, he is the one who performed the ziyarah of Imam al-Husayn with enthusiasm. After that, no one will remain on the day of Qiyamah who will not wish that he had also performed the ziyarah of Aba Abdullah al-Husayn. Muawiyah ibn Wahab, a faithful and loyal companion of Imam al-Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayh, narrates that he heard the Imam say once in his prostration, O Lord, you are the one who chose us to receive your bliss, promised us to intercede, granted us the knowledge of what passed and of what remains, made the hearts of some people lean towards us. I invoke you to forgive me and my brethren and those who visit the grave site of my grandfather Husayn. Those who spend their wealth and exhaust themselves out of their desire to express their devotion to us, hoping to earn the rewards which you have for all those who maintain their link with us. And because of the pleasure they bring to your Prophet, and out of their response to our own order to do so. Ya Allah, reward them for having vexed our enemy as they sought your pleasure. Do reward them, O Allah, on our behalf, and grant them sustenance during the night and the day, and be generous to their families and offspring, those who succeed them in doing such good deeds. Be their friend, ward off from them the evil of all stubborn tyrants, all those from among your creatures. Protect their weak from the evil of the mighty ones, be they demons, humans or jinns, and grant them the best of what they aspire as they estrange themselves from their homelands and for preferring us to their sons, families and kinsfolk. Ya Allah, our enemies find fault with their going out to visit our shrines. Yet it does not stop them from doing so, unlike those who oppose us. Ya Allah, have mercy on the faces transformed by the heat of the sun. Have mercy on the cheeks that touch the grave of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. Have mercy on the eyes that weep out of kindness to us. And have mercy on the hearts that are grieved on our account and are fired with passion for us. Have mercy on those who mourn us. Ya Allah, I implore you to be the custodian of these souls and bodies till you bring them to the pond of Kawthar on the day of great thirst. When Muawiyah ibn Wahab regarded this supplication as giving too much for those who visit the grave site of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam said to him, those in the heavens who supplicate for those who visit Husayn's grave site are more numerous than those who do so on earth. This narration and so many others demonstrate and highlight the beauty, the extensive rewards and the status of the Zuwar, the visitors towards the blessed grave of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. Peace and blessings be upon him. Now, the history of the holy city of Karbala did not begin with the 10th of Muharram. In fact, one is able to trace it all the way until the time of great prophets such as Prophet Nuh as well as Prophet Ibrahim, peace and blessings be upon them. After the battle of Siffin, Imam Ali alayhi salam also passed through Karbala, whereby he stopped and prayed for those who will be buried in this particular place. The Imam alayhi salam, when he stopped to pray and rest, also foretold what will happen to his son Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, his family and companions on this land. Of course, the most important event that led to Karbala becoming prominent and so significant to the Shia as well as to the Muslim world is the Battle of Karbala that took place here in the year 61 after Hijrah. After Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam refused to give the oath of allegiance to the tyrant and the self-proclaimed caliph Yazid, and the numerous letters that arrived from the Kufans inviting him to be their leader, Imam al-Husayn set out towards Kufa. The caravan of the Imam was halted on the way to Kufa by the commander of the army of Yazid, al-Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi, by the orders of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, who was the governor of Yazid in Kufa and Basra. The Imam alayhi salam was forced to set up camp in Karbala. On the 10th of Muharram, year 61 AH, October 13, 680, after the caravan of the Imam had been halted there for a few days, a battle between the armies of Imam al-Husayn and the army of Umar ibn Sa'ad on behalf of Yazid as well as Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad commenced. The Imam, peace and blessings be upon him, together with the majority of his companions were martyred on that day, and the remaining members of the Imam's caravan, which were mainly women and children, were taken as prisoners and first sent to Kufa and then to Damascus, which was the capital of Yazid's government in modern-day Syria. The Battle of Ashura has become the symbol of standing up against injustice and oppression, and has been utilized as inspiration for revolutionary movements throughout the time. The appearance of Shia uprisings after the event of Karbala only served to increase the attention of the Shia towards the grave of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam. For example, the penitents known as the Tawabun, while on their way to Syria to fight the Umayyads, visited the grave of Imam al-Husayn and affirmed their allegiance to the way of the Imam. Al-Mukhtar al-Thaqafi was the first person, in addition to placing a structure upon the grave of Imam alayhi salam, to build a mosque, a masjid, and develop a small village that was formed of a few houses that were built using clay and the trunk and leaves of palm trees. The building of the grave consisted in an area with a ceiling and a mosque with 2 gates. one to the east and one to the west. This was in 66 AH, in other words, 5 years after the tragedy itself. With the increase in the visitors of Imam al-Hussein and the number of inhabitants around the shrine, together with the weakening of the Umayyads and the coming into power of the Abbasids, the development and expansion of Karbala increased dramatically. Houses were built using dependable building material began to spring up around the shrine. However, some of the Abbasid caliphs saw these activities of the Shia as a threat. And because of this, during the reign of some of the caliphs such as Harun al-Mutawakkil al-Abbasi, orders were given to destroy the shrine of the Imam as well as the structures that surrounded it. However, even under these circumstances, it can be assumed that the steps taken by the Abbasid caliphs were not successful in dissuading the Shia from making Karbala their place of residence, nor to stop them from coming to Ziyarat. In fact, some used to say that if you sever our feet as well as our hands and arms, we will come crawling to you on our chests, O our Master Hussein. When Al-Ma'mun al-Abbasi took over the caliphate, all Abbasids opposed him. So in order to reinforce and establish his power against the opposition, Al-Ma'mun appealed to Imam Ali alayhi salam's progeny and his Shia. He constructed Imam Husayn alayhi salam's mausoleum and allowed the Shia to visit the place as well as the graves of the Imams. The building made at the command of Al-Ma'mun was there until 232 after Hijrah. But when Al-Mutawakkil al-Abbasi took over power, and this man was very much against the Ahl al-Bayt and despised Ali ibn Abi Talib as well as his sons, Al-Mutawakkil ordered the destruction of Imam al-Husayn's mausoleum and submerged it with water. He punished anyone who would come for the visitation and ziyarah, and in fact would impose taxes and large amounts of money for people to pay in order to come here. During the latter periods, many developments took place and the shrine was built and expanded on numerous occasions.
Karbala also experienced a number of attacks throughout its history. On the 18th of Dhul-Hijjah, 1216, 1802, the Wahhabis, led by Abdul Aziz bin Saud, entered Iraq and attacked the city of Karbala. They entered the city via the area of the campsite of Imam al-Hussein and began killing, stealing the wealth of the people and valuable items from the shrine of Imam al-Hussein. As it was customary amongst the people to visit the mausoleum of Imam Ali alayhi salam in Najaf during those days for Eid al-Ghadir, the city of Karbala was void of men to resist. Historical reports record the number of people slain by this heinous attack as being between 1,000 and 4,000 people. In addition, this attack severely damaged the shrine of Imam al-Hussein, peace be upon him. During the popular revolts of the people in the year 1400, 1991, against the Ba'athist regime led by Saddam Hussein, Karbala was one of the main resistance centers. This city, together with 13 other Iraqi cities, came under the control of resistance forces. However, the revolts were crushed by Saddam's military forces. In quashing the resistance movements, the mausoleum of Imam al-Hussein was severely damaged by the Ba'athist forces. Thousands of people were killed and buried in mass graves. An example of the brutality that Karbala witnessed in that year was when Hussein Kamil, Saddam's son-in-law, approached the shrine of Imam al-Hussein with tanks and then ordered a commander of his army from Mosul to fire at the shrine. When this commander refused, citing the fact that at the very least it's a place of worship, Hussein Kamil shot him dead. He then famously said towards the shrine, "I am Hussein and you are Hussein. Let us see who will become victorious today." He ordered that rockets are shot towards both shrines. Thousands of people who had sought refuge inside the shrine were then slaughtered. They included elderly, women and children, Their bodies remained there for a few days as the army refused to allow anyone to bury them. There was much neglect of the shrine by the previous regime until after 2003, where with the guidance and the direction of the highest religious authority in Najaf, the Marja'iyya, the shrine of Imam al-Husayn went through a number of improvements, expansions and a number of new and exciting projects. This is considered the 8th major renovation in the history of the shrine, and this includes placing and completely covering the courtyards with a roof, which contains 14 small domes with names of Ma'sumin, peace be upon them, in each. In addition, the shrine is currently expanding into a huge project to build the Sayyida Zainab courtyard, measuring 52,000 square meters across 2 floors, a number of halls and other areas such as libraries and museums, and it will encompass the Tilla Zainabiyya area as well. I want to delve inside the building which hosts the mausoleum of Imam al-Husayn. Who else is buried there, and exactly where?
Behind me is the magnificent, blessed, sacred darih of Sayyid al-Shuhada Aba Abdullah al-Husayn, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayh, where the hearts yearn, where millions of people come to pay their respects and cast their eyes on this wonderful area that reminds them of the brilliance of the grandson of the Holy Prophet and the special position he occupies in their heart. They come here, they greet the darih, they weep, they cry, they beat their chests. This is the place to be, and this is the place to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the fulfillment of the wishes. This is a place that shows where Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, as well as Ali al-Akbar and his 6-month-old infant are buried. Of course, Ali al-Akbar is next to the feet of his father. Now, before this current darih, the last one was placed in 1938, approximately 8 years ago, by the wife of Shah Nasir ad-Din. The darih was made out of silver and was manufactured in India. It went through considerable damage during the popular uprising of 1991, where Saddam's regime sprayed it with bullets. In 2013, and after 5 years of construction, this new darih was installed in a grand event of celebration. Now, this new darih and mausoleum weighs 12 tons, which includes over 118,000 kilos of gold. Designed specifically to resemble the old darih, it has 20 separate window compartments. It was designed by the famous Iranian architect Mahmoud Farashyan, who also designed the current darih of Imam al-Rida alayhi salam, as well as the famous art painting of the afternoon of Ashura, where the horse of the Imam returns and is welcomed by the ladies of the Ahl al-Bayt, seeking the rider. Around the blessed sacred darih, you'll find many Quranic verses, as well as reliable narrations, together with the glorious names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In addition to 13 hadiths of the merits of the Ziyarat of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, parts of Ziyarat al-Nahiya al-Muqaddasa, as well as Surah al-Insan and Surah al-Kawthar. All of the martyrs of Karbala, except Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, his 2 sons, Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, al-Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi, and Habib ibn Mudahar radwanullahi ta'ala alayhim, are buried near Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam's grave on the southeastern side, just behind me, on an area spanning across all this particular section. Now, these graves are symbolized in a 12-meter chamber with an inlaid box and a silver window. Above the window of the darih, you'll find verses of the Quran from Surah al-Ahzab, in which Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam used to recite when his companions would leave to go and fight and attain martyrdom. as well as, of course, some of the parts of the Ziyara of the Ansar, the helpers and the companions of Imam Husayn alayhi salam. Made out of silver, this place has two sides that can be accessed. One of them is towards the courtyard section right of Al-Qibla gate. It is likely that they are all buried in an area close to the grave of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam. It is vital to note the number of the shuhada, the martyrs listed, as research of scholars have concluded that the number was above 100, not likely to be 72, which is commonly described. Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam praised his companions brilliantly. He said famously on the eve of Ashura, أما بعد فإني لا أعلم أصحابا أوفى ولا خيرا من أصحابي. Verily, I do not know of better companions who are more loyal and more righteous than mine. And this is reflected in the ziyarah of the companions of Imam al-Husayn who attained martyrdom on the day of Ashura. This ziyarah is from Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. The ziyarah demonstrates their unwavering support for Abu Abdullah al-Husayn, for the cause, for the religion of Islam, the support to the Holy Prophet and the Ahl al-Bayt. Assalamu alaikum, ya awliya Allah wa ahibba'ah. Peace and blessings be upon them, O the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and whom love the Almighty. Assalamu alaikum, ya asfiya Allah wa awadda'ah. Peace be upon you, O the ones who have been chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum ya ansara dinillah. Assalamu alaikum ya ansara rasulillah. Peace be upon you, O the ones who supported and helped the religion of Allah and supported greatly the messenger of God. Assalamu alaikum ya ansara amir al-mu'mineen. Assalamu alaikum ya ansara Fatima sayyidati nisa al-alamin. Assalamu alaikum ya ansara abi Muhammadin al-Hasan ibn Ali al-Wali al-Nasih. Assalamu alaikum ya ansara abi Abdullah. Peace and blessings be upon you. Why? Because you supported the Prophet of Islam. You supported Amir al-Mu'mineen. You were of great support and assistance towards Fatima, the chief mistress of the women of the world. You were great support to Al-Hasan ibn Ali, and you were magnificent in your loyalty towards Abu Abdullah al-Husayn. بأبي أنتم وأمي طبتم وطابت الأرض التي فيها دفنتم. May myself and my father and my mother be sacrificed for you. You are pure, and may the earth that encompasses your graves be pure too. وفزتم فوزا عظيما فيا ليتني كنت معكم فأفوز معكم. The last part of the ziyarah of the shuhada of Karbala. Each and every one of them could be an exemplary role model for you and I, is truly important, because the Imam says you have become victorious, and a great success that you have attained. I wish that I was with you so that I will also attain victory. But yes, the visitor coming to pay respects to Shuhada'i Karbala, to the likes of, for example, Zuhair ibn al-Qayn, to the likes of Abis, to the likes of Al-Qasim ibn al-Hasan, Ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'een, and all those who gave their lives, who are buried just here behind me on an area close to the grave of Imam al-Husayn, can relate to them and can say that I wish to be successful like you. I will abide by the principles of struggle and seeking justice and standing against oppression and dhulm. I will abide by the wilayah of the Ahl al-Bayt and the support of the Ahl al-Bayt. I will be patient. I will understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will examine me and will place me in difficulty. I will be obedient to Allah, His Messenger, as well as the Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam. I will be of the people that looks of those individuals as true role models, and I will seek their intercession on the day of Qiyamah by coming here and performing their ziyarah. One of the most heartbreaking and truly sorrowful sights inside the shrine of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam is al-Madhbah al-Husseini, al-Muqaddas, right behind me. It is here that the wretched and cursed Shimr ibn Dhil Jawshan beheaded the grandson of the Prophet of Islam, Imam al-Husayn, peace and blessings be upon him. The visitor will notice that it's a few meters away from the actual gravesite of the Imam alayhi salam. This is because of the fact that the body of the Imam was trampled under the hooves of the horses and therefore was moved several meters until his place of burial. This place means much for the lovers of Imam al-Husayn. They come here and they pay their respects. The heart bleeds with sorrow and grief, remembering the tragedy that the heavens witnessed just here behind me when Shimr sat on the chest of Aba Abdullah. The place has a special chamber with a silver door and a window towards the courtyard on the southwestern side of Habib ibn Mudahir's shrine. Its floor is covered with marble and it has a cellar with a silver door. Recently, 2 sides of al-Madhbah al-Husseini have been constructed to facilitate visitation for both men and women.
One of the well-known companions of Imam Ali and Imam al-Hussein, peace and blessings be upon them, was Habib ibn Mudahir al-Asadi. Considered one of the oldest martyrs on the 10th of Muharram, he attained martyrdom at the age of 75 on the day of Ashura. Habib was from the Banu Asad tribe and lived in the city of Kufa. He was one of the people of Kufa who sent letters to Imam al-Hussein and invited him to the city after Muawiyah's death. However, when he saw the people of Kufa had broken their allegiance to Imam al-Hussein, he left the city and joined the Imam. Habib was a devout and dedicated believer who spent the nights in the worship of Allah. According to Imam al-Hussein, he recited the entire Quran every night. He was offered money to oppose the grandson of the Prophet, but he rejected it and famously said, "We will have no excuse to make to the Prophet of God if we are alive and the son of the Prophet is oppressed and killed." When the tribe of Banu Asad were burying the martyrs of Karbala, they buried Habib ibn Mudahir, who was one of the elders and their trustee, separately and with a distance of 10 meters from Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam's grave. Later, his tomb was included in Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam's shrine and is located in the southern porch. Sayyid Ibrahim ibn Muhammad ibn Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam is known as Ibrahim al-Mujab. He is the son of Muhammad al-Abid and the grandson of the 7th Holy Imam, Imam Musa ibn Ja'far al-Kadhim, peace and blessings be upon them. Sayyid Ibrahim went to Karbala in the year 247 and stayed there. According to reports of historians, he was the first person amongst the Sayyids who migrated from Kufa to Karbala while he had lost his eyesight. In that period, Al-Muntasir al-Abbasi, who is the son of Al-Mutawakkil, was the Abbasid Caliph. Al-Muntasir was upset about his father's harassments of the Shia, so he allowed them to visit the grave of Imam al-Hussein. Why was this man named Ibrahim al-Mujab the one who would be answered? Some have reported that Ibrahim entered the shrine of Imam al-Hussein, his grandfather, and said, "Peace and blessings be upon you, O father." And an answer was heard from the grave, "And with you be peace, O my son." And thus he became famous as Al-Mujab, meaning the answered one. People today not only pay their respects here, but also ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the fulfillment of their wishes.
amazing, mesmerizing, captivating and tremendously beautiful dome of the shrine of Sayyid al-Shuhada, the master of the martyrs, Aba Abdullah al-Hussein salawatullahi wa salamu alayh, stands here in Karbala, drawing millions of people on an annual basis. And of course, this dome has been mentioned in traditions of the Holy Prophet and the Ahl al-Bayt alayhum salam. In the famous tradition of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he mentions three distinguished features of his grandson Imam Husayn alayhi salam. جُعِلَ الشِّفَاءُ فِي تُرْبَتِهِ. Healing has been made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to come through the soil of his grave. وَإِجَابَةُ الدُّعَاء تَحْتَ قُبَّتِهِ. And the answering of supplications and dua under his dome. وَالْأَئِمَّةُ مِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِهِ. And the Imams of the Ahl al-Bayt are from his progeny. The question is, of course, does this refer specifically to supplications made under the blessed dome of Imam al-Hussein, or is it wider and bigger than this? When the narration was mentioned, and it is also referred to by Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, it is perhaps with the notion that the shrine and the grave of Imam al-Hussein was very small. In fact, there was a dome right on top of his grave. Today we find the shrine, alhamdulillah, has expanded tremendously. And therefore, it is possible that this refers to the idea that dua and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within the entire shrine of Imam al-Hussein is what the Prophet of Islam is referring to. In other words, it's not only on the area of the dharih or the grave or just under the dome, but rather whenever and wherever an individual goes within the shrine, they can ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the name of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam for their needs, for their wishes and desires to be fulfilled. Now this dome that is behind me of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam has a characteristic features. These features include, for example, the flags that are often replaced. A black flag is placed, for example, at the beginning of each Muharram every single year. As well as this, what also you find is that for those who come to Bayn al-Haramain, the area between the two blessed shrines of Imam al-Hussein and Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas salamullahi alayhi, will notice that they may not be able to see the entire dome. And therefore, because of this, there are plans to raise the dome by approximately 7 meters. And in doing so, new pillars have to be somehow strengthened, which will result in the expanding even of the dharih area, facilitating more space for the visitors. This project, inshaAllah ta'ala, will be completed within the next few years. Some notable gates of entry towards the shrine of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam include Babul Qibla, the gate of Qibla. Indeed, this is the oldest and the main gate of the courtyard of the shrine. It is called so because it's located in the direction of the Qibla, facing towards the holy Kaaba. Another gate is known as Babul Shuhada, the gate of the martyrs. This gate is located between the eastern side on the pilgrim's way to Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas alayhi salam shrine. It is also called after the martyrs of Karbala. Bab al-Sidra, or the gate of Sidar, is located in the furthest point of the northwestern side of the courtyard. And it's called so because of the cedar tree that grew under Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam's grave in the 1st century after Hijrah, by which pilgrims found the location of the grave. That particular tree was uprooted by Harun al-Abbasi in order to remove any signs for people when it comes to the visitation of the grave itself. Babu Salam, the gate of peace, is located in the middle of the northern side, and it is called so because at this gate people used to greet Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Behind me is a door known as Babul Ra's al-Sharif, the door of the blessed head, in which the individuals and the visitors, when they enter, they are facing the mausoleum and the dharih and the direction in which the blessed head of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is buried inside. A term that is often used, or you may have come across, is al-Ha'ir al-Husseini. What is this? This is an area around the grave of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, which is used in hadith such as that from Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. There are a number of different views about this place that is called al-Ha'ir, including the view that after al-Mutawakkil al-Abbasi in the year 232, who ruled between 232 and 247, ordered his agents to destroy Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam's mausoleum and submerge it with water. The water stood still and somehow circulated near the grave and did not encompass it. And hence the water or the area was called al-Ha'ir, the confused. The second view is that early in the 2nd century after Hijrah, a wall was built around Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam's grave, and it seems that the construction of the wall, presumably in the Umayyad period, was aimed at facilitating the inspection of the visitors who was visiting Imam al-Husayn. A third view takes the word al-Ha'ir to be a code for Karbala or Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam's shrine against Umayyad strict rules which stopped the visitation of the shrine. Now, in Arabic, the word al-Ha'ir was first used in a hadith from Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam concerning the virtues and the manners of visiting Imam al-Husayn, peace and blessings be upon him. It was used to refer to the area around the mausoleum. The word was gradually used more frequently by the Shia to refer to the mausoleum and its surrounding area. There are a number of opinions today regarding the confines of the Ha'ir al-Husseini. Number one, some say this is the mausoleum of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam and the other martyrs of Karbala except the shrine of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. Others say this is the shrine with the whole courtyard before its expansion during the Safavid period. Whilst the third opinion states that the Ha'ir is only the room of the grave of Imam al-Husayn, peace and blessings be upon him. So once you're inside the shrine or want to enter inside the shrine of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, you may be wondering, what should I be doing? What are the recommended acts to perform inside this holy place? The first thing is, of course, to seek permission to enter, إذن الدخول, especially if we're entering for the first time. This is in recognition of the fact that we have been invited to take part in this blessed ziyarah by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and indeed the Imam that we've come to pay respects to has welcomed us. So we seek permission out of respect, as this is a place that belongs to Allah and one of the houses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as well as that of the Prophet and his Ahl al-Bayt. Once we're inside, we walk slowly and we try not to be distracted by people. This is the case in any shrine as well, where the focus has to be the remembrance of Allah, the honoring of these holy individuals. We recite the various ziyarahs of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam. There are ones such as Ziyarat Warith, Ziyarat Ashura, and there are general ziyarahs. For example, Ziyarat Aminullah, for example, Ziyarat al-Jami'a al-Kabira, as well as other supplications that exist as well. We also are highly recommended to recite the Holy Quran inside the shrine. Remember that the Ahl al-Bayt alayhum as-salam are on par with the Quran. According to Hadith al-Thaqalain, it should be a noble objective of the believer, of the visitor of these holy shrines, especially for Imam al-Husayn and the other Imams alayhim as-salam, to recite the Quran, to recite it as much as possible and to make it a habit to do so whilst inside the shrine. Let's not forget the holy 12th Imam, Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman, Ruhi wa arwahul alameen lahul fida. May Allah hasten his reappearance when we are here within the confines of the shrine of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam and Shuhada'i Karbala. He mourns like no other. He cries day and night and he sheds tears of blood for Aba Abdullah al-Husayn, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. So it's a brilliant place to connect to the holy 12th Imam. Here is also a place to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness of sins, for tawbah. Here it is a great place knowing that Imam alayhi salam welcomed Al-Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi, for example, and Allah forgave his sins. It's a place where the load of the transgressions and dhunub are removed from our shoulders. And indeed, it's a golden opportunity. At this particular shrine, we pledge allegiance to the principles of the Imam alayhi salam. We remember the martyrs of Karbala and their story, seeking inspiration from their lives. For example, Zuhair ibn al-Qayn or Habib ibn Mudahir. We kiss the darih. We seek blessings from the darih, from the doors of the shrine, remembering, of course, not to hurt other zuwar or to inconvenience them. This is a brilliant place for reflection and quality pondering, for tafakkur and tadabbur. How can I be of Ansar al-Hussein, the helpers of Hussein? How can I be an agent for spreading his universal message? How can I be an exemplar as far as peace and love and coexistence is concerned? How can I stand against oppression and injustice? How can I speak the truth? How can I conduct my life in accordance to the teachings of the Ahl al-Bayt? What is wrong with me? Why am I not connecting to Allah? Why am I not progressing in my life? These and many other questions. Sit in a corner of the shrine and ponder and reflect. Use this amazing atmosphere for your own advantage. And whilst you're here, don't forget those that have passed away, from your relatives, from your marhumeen, from those that you know and those that you respect and revere, from the ulama and the maraji' that have come before, as well as those who may not have had the opportunity to come and visit the shrine of Imam al-Husayn. Recite Surah Fatiha for them, recite a 2 rak'ah salah for their souls, and recite perhaps a ziyarah and a Quran recitation so that they benefit as well. In addition, you can perform ziyarah on behalf of others who may still be alive, your family or friends. Make an intention, mention their name, and recite the ziyarah on their behalf, and they will surely attain benefit and reward. Numerous narrations exist that point to the excellence of the soil Turbatul Husayn alayhi salam in Karbala. This all started, of course, from the emphasis by the very holy Prophet of Islam, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, and what he mentioned about the soil of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam's grave. In, for example, Musnad Ahmad ibn Hanbal, the narration is stated where Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, when he was young, he went inside the house of the Holy Prophet. And Salama then saw Imam alayhi salam on the lap of the Holy Prophet of Islam, and the Prophet is crying. He said to Salama that the angel Jibreel had descended and informed him that the Ummah was shed the blood of his grandson, and that he gave Salama some soil of Karbala and said, when this soil turns into red, know that my grandson Hussein will be slaughtered. Even Imam Ali alayhi salam picked up the soil of Karbala on his way to Siffin. An example of many narrations that we find regarding the excellence of the soil of Turbatul Husayn is found in Kamil al-Ziyarat, where Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, if a believer who suffers from an illness and who believes in the rights of the Imam alayhi salam, in other words Imam al-Husayn, and in his sanctity and wilayat, takes a little bit from the clay of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam's grave, he will be cured. In performing salah, it is recommended to perform sajda on the soil of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam's grave. Such a prayer is more rewarding. Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam, according to narrations, was the first to do so, followed by Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, where they would use the soil from the grave of Imam al-Husayn to perform sajda to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on. It is forbidden to eat any kind of soil except for a little bit of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam's soil for only healing purposes. It is also recommended to place a little bit of the soil under the tongue of the newborn babies in a process known as tahannuk. In addition, it's obligatory to respect Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam's soil. and it is forbidden to disrespect it in any way. For example, making it dirty, throwing it to disrespectful places. And if it is thrown in a disrespectful place, it should be taken out. It is also recommended to put some soil of Imam al-Husayn's grave in the corpse and in the taboot of someone who's passed away before burying them, and sometimes mixing it with the camphor in the tahneet of the process when it comes to the shrouding. It is mustahab, recommended, to smell, to kiss the soil, and to rub it over one's eyes. It is rewarding to touch the soil and rub it over all the parts of the body. It's also recommended to mention Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a tasbih and to remember Him with a bead, prayer bead, whose beads are made up of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam's soil. Even carrying such a tasbih is highly rewarding. But of course, the question is, what is the boundary of the actual Turbatul Husayn? Many people who come to Karbala will see the soil being sold in many shops or being given by certain individuals. What constitutes the actual soil that brings about so much benefit and reward and has so much tremendous emphasis in narrations? Well, of course, different narrations exist. Some say from a few meters from the grave of the Imam. Some say up till 44 kilometers from the actual grave of the Imam. Many scholars and modern day jurists are of the opinion that the closer the soil is to the grave of the Imam alayhi salam, the better and indeed the more beneficial it will become. If the soil is taken from anywhere in Karbala, it could be bought and placed under the dome, for example, or in the shrine, and inshaAllah ta'ala, it will have some great benefits too. And it's very interesting that some scholars have indeed mentioned the spiritual elements of the soil of Imam al-Husayn, remembering that this is the actual soil that witnessed the tragedy of the 10th of Muharram. As Ziyarat is highly recommended to keep us focused on the Husseini movement, for it to stay alive in our hearts and thoughts so we can live our lives by its principles and ensure that seeking justice and standing against oppression is not forgotten. When we come to take the soil, it reminds us of this very important journey and process of self-reflection, self-scrutinization, and seeking to be inspired by the light of Hussein, by the power of Hussein, by the magnificent impact of the name Hussein, which has trembled the throne of tyrants, that has given so much light and hope to many people around the world to stand up for their rights and to speak the truth. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Peace be upon Hussein and upon Ali ibn al-Hussein and upon the sons of Hussein and upon the companions of Hussein.